Welcome back. So let's continue. We're still on chapter 1, and today's topic will be about estimates. So our learning objectives are to estimate drug doses to check the accuracy of final calculations. So estimates. Estimating an answer before calculating the solution is a simple way of checking to see whether the answer you arrived at is reasonable. So in pharmacy, we're going to be using estimates, not for accuracy again. This is just to give us an idea of whether after we actually do the mathematics, if we come up to the about the amount that should be the actual medication dose. Okay, it's just for the purposes of checking our work, not really giving us the answer. So estimating sums. So a sum is the result of adding two or more numbers. When estimating sum, it is common to round the number to be added to the nearest 10, 100, or 1,000, and then added the rounded numbers. So for example, if we want to estimate this first actual sum, we want to round to the tenths place. So we're looking at the 7, and we're going to look at the number next to it. It's a 3. Since it's less than 5, we're going to go ahead and round it down to 70. Then moving on to 42.03, we're going to look at that 2. Since again it's less than 5, we're going to round down to 40. 18.3, we're going to look at this 8. Since it's greater than 5, we're going to go ahead and round the 1 to 20. And then 87.32, 7 again is greater than 5, so we're going to round off to 90. So 70 plus 40 plus 20 plus 90 is equal to 220. And when we actually add the actual sum, it gives us 221.45. Okay, so our estimate is close to the actual amount, and that's what we want to see when we're estimating. Now that we're estimating products and quotients, so a product is a result of multiplying two numbers together, and a quotient is a result of dividing one number by another number. So basically, quotient is division, product is multiplication. Oops. So in this example, we want to multiply 325 times 618. And so the first round the two numbers, 325 is closer to 300. So again, now this one we're rounding up to the hundreds place. So 3, we're looking at the 2. 2 is less than 5, so we're going to round down to 300. And 616, 1 is less than 5 again, so we're going to go ahead and round down to 600. Then divide each number by the place value of its leftmost column. So the value of the leftmost column for both numbers is 100. So again, we're hundreds. We're looking at the 10th place to round, so we're in hundreds. So we're going to divide by 100. 300 divided by 100 is 3. 600 times 100 is 6. Now we're going to multiply these two numbers together. So 3 times 6 is 18. The last step is to appropriate the number zeros to the answer. So there were 2 zeros should be added for the 325, and then 2 zeros should be added for the 618. Okay, so 2 zeros for the 300 and then 2 zeros for the 600. So then our answer is 180,000. Compare that to the actual product, which is 200,850, which is fairly close. Not that close, but again, this is an estimate, and it's only to show that we're close enough to the answer. So if we get something less than 1800, we know that we did something wrong, basically. So estimating the quotient now. So we're gonna first round the two numbers. 5,355 is closer to 5,000, so we're looking at the thousands place. So look at the 100. is less than 5, so it'll be 5,000. Oh wait, hold on. It's closer to 500 than 6,000, so we should round it to, this should say 5,000, okay? And then we have 4.79 is closer to 5 than 4, so we're going to round it off to 5. Then divide each number by the place value of the leftmost column. The value of the leftmost column is 5,000, is in the thousands, and the left column is in the 5, is in the ones. So 5,000 divided by 1,000 is 5, and 5 divided by 1, of course, it's 5. Now divide the rounded numbers. So 5 divided by 5 is 1. Last, add the appropriate zeros. So there were 3 zeros in the 5,000 and no zeros in the 5. Okay, so to the 1, we're going to add those 3 zeros. So the answer is 1,000. Compared to the actual estimate, which is 1,117.95. Okay, so again, if we get an answer that it's less than 1,000, we know we did something wrong. Okay, so this gives us a good estimate. So estimating a drug dose. Estimating a drug dose before calculating the actual dose is helpful because the estimate can be used to double check the accuracy of the calculated actual dose. Like I was saying before, it's just an estimate. So it's basically telling you that if you get something maybe less than the actual value, you've done something wrong. It should be close enough to the estimate that you made. So when estimating a drug dose, the first step is to determine whether the dose is going to be more or less than the unit dose or value drug strength. Calculating the dose by rounding the given dose to simplify the problem and dividing this rounded dose by the available drug strength. Okay, so in the next example, in order for 12.5 milligram of drug needed to be filled using a 5 milligram tablet. So we're going to estimate the number of tablets needed for this dose. So the drug on hand, the medication on hand is 5 milligrams of the drug in each tablet. Because the order is for 12.5 milligrams of the drug, the dose should be measured out will be larger than 1 tablet. Simplify the estimate by rounding 12.5 milligrams down to 10 milligrams. This will make it easier to use the available dose to estimate the required number of tablets. So since we're rounding it down, we know by our estimate that the answer is going to be more than what we're basically getting to. Okay, so 10 milligrams times 1 tablet over 5 milligrams. So the milligrams cancel. So you're left with the answer that you want, which is tablets. So 10 times 1 is 10 divided by 5 is 2 tablets. So that's our estimate. Therefore, that means that the actual dose will be at least 2 tablets. And when we do the actual measurement, we know that it's 2.5 tablets. Before moving on, the actual calculated dose of 2.5 tablets can be checked by comparing it with the estimate. If an actual dose of 0.25 tablets or 25 tablets was calculated instead, then a quick comparison with the estimated dose of 2 tablets would immediately indicate that the actual dose was calculated incorrectly. So here it's basically saying like you took the 2.5 tablets and estimated to 0.25 tablets, and therefore getting a 25 milligram tablet, which would be inaccurate. Use rounding to estimate the dollar amount to the nearest whole dollar, okay? Then calculate the actual value. So we want to estimate to the nearest whole dollar, which would be in the 2. So looking at the 5, we know it's greater than, or it's 5 or greater. So we're going to round the 12 to 13. And then looking at the 6, we see that the 1 is less than 5, so we're going to leave it at 6. So that means 13 minus 6 will give us an estimate of 6. Okay. The actual amount is 6.38. Estimate the products by rounding two numbers and then multiplying them. Also calculate the actual value. So 6 times 8 times 7. So 6 times 8, 6.8, we're looking at the 7. Estimate the product by rounding the two numbers and then multiply. So 7 and then 8,000. Okay, so then there's 3 zeros and we converted this to 7, so there's no zeros. So 7 times 7 will give us 49. By the answer, I think it's, we're rounding it to the 100 place. So 6, looking at the 5, will become 7. So 77 times 7 will give us 53. 532. And we got 2 zeros, so we're adding those 2 zeros. And then the actual product was 52,060 and 80. So we see that our estimates are fairly close. And that's it for this section. So we'll move on to the next one. See you in the next video.